Most people think credit works exactly the way it's explained. Pay on time, keep balances low, don't miss payments. Simple system, simple rules. But the reality is a little more subtle than that. Because what actually gets measured isn't just what you do. It's what the system sees at the right moment. One of the most common pieces of credit advice sounds incredibly responsible. Pay your credit cards in full every month. And to be clear, that's usually excellent financial advice. But here's the part most people never hear. Financially responsible and credit growth efficient aren't always the exact same thing. Because many people assume that paying everything off automatically sends the strongest possible signal to lenders. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And the difference comes down to something most consumers never see. Timing. Some people use a credit card all month, spend responsibly, pay every dollar, never miss a payment, never carry debt. And yet, their reported utilization looks surprisingly low, or sometimes almost non-existent, which creates a strange situation. The bank knows they used the card, but the credit bureaus may see very little evidence of that activity, and underwriting systems often evaluate reported behavior, not invisible behavior. Think about it like going to the gym. If you work out every day, but nobody records your progress, it becomes harder to demonstrate the results. Basically, you're getting fit in stealth mode, which is impressive and completely useless to algorithms. The workouts still happened, but the data trail is weaker. Credit reporting works a little like that. Now, before someone starts typing an angry comment, this is not an argument for carrying debt. It's not an argument for paying interest. And it's definitely not an argument for making bad financial decisions. Because nothing says financial strategy like donating money to a bank for fun. Because banks absolutely love customers who pay on time. Very much. Probably more than your relatives like seeing you at Thanksgiving. Which admittedly, is not a very high bar for some families. The real question isn't, did you pay? The real question is, what balance was reported when the snapshot was taken? Because credit reporting isn't a live video feed. It's usually more like a photograph. And photographs can tell very different stories depending on when they're taken. Imagine two people. Both spend about the same amount. Both pay on time. Both avoid interest. But one consistently allows a modest balance to report before paying it off. The other pays everything before reporting occurs. Neither person is doing anything wrong, but the reported data may look different. And lenders make decisions using data, not intentions. This is one reason people sometimes become frustrated. They feel like they're doing everything right. And honestly, they probably are. But credit systems don't reward effort. They reward signals. And signals only exist if they're visible. Now here's where things get interesting. The goal isn't maximizing utilization. The goal isn't carrying balances. And the goal definitely isn't paying interest. The goal is demonstrating controlled credit use. Because controlled use tells a story, this person uses credit. This person manages credit. This person handles obligations consistently. And consistency is one of the most valuable signals in lending. Banks love predictability. Predictability creates trust. Trust creates confidence. And confidence often creates approvals. A credit card that never gets used tells lenders very little. A credit card that's constantly maxed out tells a different story. But somewhere in the middle, there's useful information. Evidence, patterns, behavior. The things underwriting systems are actually trying to understand. Because lenders aren't asking, can this person make one payment? They're asking, how does this person manage credit over time? And that's a much bigger question. The funny thing is, most people think credit is about proving responsibility. But modern lending is often about proving predictability. Responsibility matters. Predictability scales. And banks happen to love things that scale, almost as much as they love turning paperwork into more paperwork. The strongest borrowers usually aren't sending dramatic signals. They're sending clear ones, month after month, year after year, until eventually the system has enough evidence to stop guessing and start trusting. That's why paying in full is still a great habit. But understanding reporting behavior helps explain why some people see faster credit growth than others. Not because they're smarter, not because they found a secret loophole, but because the system can see more of the behavior it's trying to evaluate. And once you understand that, a lot of confusing credit advice suddenly starts making more sense. Because sometimes the biggest myths aren't completely wrong, they're just incomplete. If this changed how you think about credit reporting, hit like and subscribe. And more importantly, share it with someone who still thinks pay in full means nothing else matters. And while you're there, Turn on the bell so you don't miss future breakdowns like this. Most of the real credit mechanics people struggle with are never explained clearly anywhere else, and I want to hear your experience. What's one credit rule you followed that sounded perfect, but didn't behave the way you expected in real life? Drop it in the comments. We decode it from there.